Welcome to Mineral Talks Live, the monthly live mineral webinar that brings you in-depth and in-person interviews with mineral people from around the world. Mineral Talks Live is brought to you by a joint effort among the Mineralogical and Geological Museum at Harvard University, the SMMP, and Blue Cap Productions. Tune in on the first Wednesday of every month and stay connected to your mineral world. Now, broadcasting live from beautiful Honolulu, Hawaii, the land of aloha, ukuleles, and shakas, this is Mineral Talks Live. Hello everyone and welcome to Mineral Talks Live, the internet's favorite monthly mineral talk show. Today is Wednesday, July 5th, and today's program is our 76th episode of our show. If you're tuning in for the first time, I'm your host, Brian Swoboda, and I, along with my two fabulous partners, Dr. Raquel Alonso Perez from the Mineralogical and Geological Museum at Harvard University, and Dr. Eloise Gaillou from the Society of Mineral Museum Professionals, also known as the SMMP, thank you for joining us today. If you happen to have missed any of our past interviews with some of the best curatrix, curators, collectors, dealers, miners, researchers, artists, and media people in the mineral world, there's a complete list to all those episodes, along with links to those interviews at the URL located at the bottom of the screen. Now, one of the things that makes this program unique is that not only is this a live show, but it's a show where you get to interact with our guests. All you have to do is participate through the chat or the Q&A features, both of which are located at the bottom of your Zoom window. The chat feature allows you to type messages to everyone watching the show. We encourage you to post your thoughts, comments, or questions about what we're discussing in this chat area while we're talking. Raquel is on leave today, so Eloise will be monitoring the chat area and be very active there. Occasionally, she may even interject a question or comment to us in the middle of the interview, and these would be questions or comments that she's received from the chat area, so don't be shy. As for any general questions you may have for our guests, those questions can be typed into the Q&A section, and we'll get to those questions at the end of the show. Finally, towards the end of the program, you'll see a window pop up on your screen. This is our quick fire 5 questions segment to see how well all of us know our guests. We find it's also a fun icebreaker when you run into our guests at the next mineral event. So go ahead, play along. And actually, if you viewers get enough of the questions correct, I've got a special gift for today's guests. So really work hard on this, and we'll get a special gift off to our guests, courtesy of all of the viewers of Mineral Talks Live. Now, for today's episode, we're going to head out to Texas and focus in on the great city of Houston, home of NASA's Johnson Space Center, the Houston Museum of Natural Science, and today's guests, James and Charelle Webb of the Focal Crystal. Hey guys, how are you doing?
Hi.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, so let me ask you this. I know we were talking about this when we were all together in St. Marie, but how is the weather out there? We were concerned that there was this huge heat dome that's over the south of the continental U.S. Is it still there, and how miserable is it?
It's not as miserable as it was. It's only like mid 90s for the high right now. So
That's
it was
not too
100.
bad. What about the humidity?
Very high.
It's very high.
Very high.
We're at sea level, so we're generally over 90% humidity.
Yeah, but we're making it.
Right.
We're making it.
Well, good to hear that. Okay, James, I want to start with you. Now, the Focal Crystal is based in Houston, Texas, and you were born in Houston. So walk us through how you first got introduced to minerals and how and when you decided to make a career out of it.
So I grew up with the collector gene. I collected baseball cards as a kid, like a lot of kids, comic books, stamps, coins. Yeah, when I got a little bit older, one of my uncles got me into coins. And when we started our family, the collector stuff kind of got put on the back burner. But then Charelle and I went to the Houston Museum of Natural Science, and casually, Charelle said, I think it would be fun to collect minerals, which was like dumping gasoline on the smoldering collector gene embers. And
she's an enabler.
What she meant was she thought it would be cool to have 5 or 10 minerals in a case. And what I heard was, let's go crazy and learn everything we can about minerals. So that's how we got started. It was an innocent trip, I guess, maybe 15, 16 years ago to the museum. And so Charelle is to blame for all of this.
Fantastic. Well, Charelle, we have to thank you. And I love the fact that yet again, it was a museum that was the catalyst to kind of get you guys down that road. Well, now, Charelle, you're next. Your family, I believe, is from Tennessee, and somehow you ended up in Houston slinging rocks. Tell us your story.
So my family is from West Tennessee, and my mom still lives there on the family farm. But my dad was part of the space race. So he went to Alabama and worked there for NASA, or indirectly for NASA, for a bit while he finished his degree. And then, like a lot of space folk, he came to Johnson Space Center. James and I both grew up maybe 5 minutes from Mission Control. Mm-hmm. So I was the child of a space race starter. So that's how I came to Houston.
I love that. Now, even now, the gallery where you guys are sitting in, James, I think you told me you're only a couple blocks from Johnson Space Center.
No, our house is a couple of blocks from Johnson Space Center. Our gallery is literally 2 city blocks from the Houston Museum of Natural Science.
Oh my God, that's fantastic. That's great. Okay, so let me ask you, let me go off script here. How did you guys meet?
Oh,
unexpected.
we were both in the marching band at Clear Lake High School, and casually, Charelle is a fairly unusual name, and so is her maiden name, Bats. And my best friend, still to this day, Frankie, one day we were walking across the marching band field, and he said, "Hello, Charelle Bats." And I looked over at Charelle, and my heart fell out of my body, and that's how we met. And then we were friends for, a year or so. And then we started dating, and then we got engaged toward
the end of college.
And then we got married right when Charelle graduated and just before I did.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So you guys were like literal high school sweethearts.
Yes.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. That is so cool.
Yeah.
Charelle, let me ask you, when you were in the Houston Museum with James, what were you looking at? What was the thing that sparked you to turn to him and say, hey, why don't we start collecting minerals? And did you have a collector's gene in you?
No, I don't really. But so there were 2 things, really. My dad made jewelry, did lost wax casting. And so as a kid, I would go to the rock shop and to the jewelry supply store here in Houston with him a lot. And I'm also a lifelong Francophile. And I'd read an article that Louis XIV collected minerals. So that was cool. So those 2 things sort of had me, primed before we went to the museum on that fateful day. And the museum collection here in Houston is astonishingly beautiful. I like pretty things. And so it just kind of all came together. And then and James is right. I thought, I didn't even think 5 or 10. I thought like 3 or 4 pieces maybe would be fun. So not, I didn't know that it was going to be 3 or 4 cases, but here we are. So
I love it. Was there a particular mineral in the Houston Museum that kind of was the final needle on the haystack that made you ask that question? And if you say the rabbit ears, that's totally acceptable.
Well, I mean, certainly the rabbit ears are beautiful. The Alma Queen probably would have been the one that, this beautiful, perfect,
cherry red.
Yeah. I mean, you can't beat that, but pretty much everything in the way it was displayed, the drama of the contrast, we still love, I still love, contrasting minerals and matrix and the color composition. I mean, so many pieces there are so beautiful. So it was an easy thing to fall in love with if you already like pretty things, which I do. So
absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So eventually you made the transition from collector to dealer. How did that happen? Was that always the plan, or did that evolve?
I just like to say it was a hobby that got out of hand.
Oh,
so,
beautiful.
So like a lot of collectors, we found ourselves contemplating the direction of our collection and wanting to have fewer pieces, but finer pieces, which left us with the conundrum that a lot of mineral collectors have, which is how do I either monetize these things or, I no longer want these 5 things. I now want this one thing. And so, a mixed bag of experiences, consigning things back to dealers to sell for us, kind of gave way to selling things ourselves. And so in 2018, or I guess in 2017, we started kind of intentionally selling things. And as our friends noticed us selling things successfully, they said, would you sell things for us? And we said, yes, we would. And so we, the early part of our business was almost 100% consignment. It was either things from our collection or things from our friends' collections. And then a few dealers that we've worked with along the way who were gracious enough to consign things to us.
Now, I remember when I believe when I first met you, it was in Tucson. You were at Mineral City, and you had the Marshall Sussman collection available for sale. Was that kind of? It seems like that was about the right time when you started Focal Crystal. Is that right?
Pretty close to it. I think our first actual show was Denver 2018. I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we had Marshall's been an extremely important friend and mentor to us. And we did have his things on memo for that 1 year at the Westward Look.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so we participated in the Westward Look. We had our room at Mineral City. And then Ian invited us to be a part of the Tucson Fine Mineral Gallery. And that's been a really important place for us to be. You're in there. Tom Spann is in there. Patrick Dreyer is in there. Of course, Brian Lee's Collector's Edge. Ian has a killer gallery there. Stu Walensky is in there. Daniel Ulibarri is in there.
Scott Rudolph's in there.
Yeah, and Moonsteiner's in there now, and then
MCP. I mean, it's a great venue, and it's great that we're all kind of in the same place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a first class venue, so we're really we're excited to be there in both of our spaces in Tucson.
Super. Now, tell me about where you got the name the Focal Crystal.
So we kicked around several different names when we thought about what's a catchy name for the business, and I thought the Focal Crystal kind of sums up our aesthetic. If you look over history, the things that seem to be the most attractive to us are things that have a dominant spot on the specimen that draws your eye, and the most simple way to say that is the Focal Crystal, usually one crystal, large for the species or large for the fine, with particularly nice color and luster, isolated on a contrasting matrix. That's what we really love. And so I thought it was a cool name for the mineral business.
Super. I love it. Now, this is one thing that I've kind of recently learned. When I've come down and I've interviewed you guys, James, you've always been the one on the camera. And more recently, I've gotten to know you and Charelle a lot better. And she is just as active in the business as you are. And I love seeing that. She's a little bit more kind of behind the scenes, doesn't like being in front of the camera. In fact, I wasn't even sure that she was going to be on this program until about 30 minutes ago.
That's right.
I love the fact that you guys are like true partners, and I've seen you guys work together now, and it truly is it's a shared ownership, partnership, and participation in the company.
100%. The thing that enabled us to buy minerals is we've owned an IT consulting company for 25 years. We started it in 1999, and I've been more involved on the production side, placing consultants who write computer code for mostly oil and gas companies here in Houston. And Charelle, when the day I came home and I said, listen, I don't want to work for these other people anymore. I want to go start our own business. She said, perfect. you do all the production stuff and I'll do all the back office stuff because you're not detail oriented in any way. I am. And, so basically she gave me the freedom to just go sling deals. And so in our consulting business and in our real estate business and in our mineral business, I go and do the deals. And then Charelle tries, even through my ADD, poor communication skills, to keep track of everything. So she does all of the banking, all of the insurance, anything that's back office related for all of our little small businesses. She does it all.
I love seeing teamwork like that. You guys work fantastically together. It's wonderful to see.
Thank you.
Now, okay, so I'm sorry, go ahead.
That was on the job training for me, learning all of these things, because that's not my background is not like accounting or anything like that. So I had to come up to speed pretty quick, but it was a challenge and fun and still is.
Yeah, she probably won't say it, but she has a master's degree in engineering. So, learning.
Right, but
basic.
Charelle, you also thrive on challenge. You speak French very fluently. And while we were running around Germany together, you were doing your darndest to try to learn as much German as you could as we were running around. So I think that's part of your personality. You love to jump in there with both feet and just do total immersion and see what you can make out of it.
I appreciate that. I am not fluent in French, but I do my very best.
she's fairly well fluent in French.
Exactly right. It's like, I know I'm not fluent in French, but compared, you are.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are sitting in your showroom right there. Why don't you kind of give us a brief tour around the showroom?
Okay. Let's see how we figure this out.
All right, we're going to try to switch cameras here. And Charelle's going to hold that horizontally. There we go. Beautiful. Meanwhile, James is going to narrate this for us. Ooh, nice finger.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So.
I'd say.
That's our front door.
Fabulous. Well done.
We come in.
Okay, Charelle, we can't hear you because your microphone's off. So, James, we're going to need you to narrate.
Okay, so as you come in our front door, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cases and a small thumbnail case. So here I am sitting here at with the desk turned like 180 degrees, so that as the camera from my cell phone looks, you kind of see what's behind me. This is our Danny Jewel box case. Some of the things that we're going to feature when we start looking at minerals are in here, and then we have. These are Tucson store fixtures cases. So you can kind of look. These are some beautiful things that we have. And we have guests come from all over the world and all over the country that come to the gallery. Our gallery is open by appointment only. We don't have a public facing storefront, so to speak.
Terrific. I was going to ask you about that. So thank you for addressing that.
Yeah, and then this is another Tucson store fixtures case that's absolutely bursting at the seams with minerals. Yep. And then into our lobby, we have this case, which is also chock full of beautiful aesthetic goodies. And then on the little credenza in between, we have some of the Larry favorite ironwood inlaid with turquoise and sterling silver that an artist in Mebane, North Carolina, Larry favorite makes. A lot of people who have gone to Tucson for many years will remember Larry. He is 83, I believe now, and just prefers to do his art and not come to the shows anymore. So we carry Larry favorite things, and we take some of these to the shows as well. We've collected them for many years, and we offered to basically be his dealer in Texas. And so we have usually a pretty good selection of these things to show at the different shows.
Now, what kind of woods does Larry use for his boxes there?
Larry uses Arizona ironwood. So the rich colors and patterns in the wood, it really is a fascinating thing that he does. The pieces are very heavy and substantial. And then he cuts out all of his own sterling inlays and all of his little pieces of turquoise that he inlays, and then he sands them all down. And it's interesting because the turquoise and the sterling sand at a very similar rate to the wood, because the wood is so hard, it sands at a very similar rate to stone and metal.
That is super. I love the inside of that tree box with it's almost like that turquoise inlay is a complete surprise. You'd expect to see more around the outside, but then when you open it, I was surprised to see so much turquoise inside of it.
Yeah, we are also very attracted to the pieces that have the sterling and the turquoise in them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then this is the sixth case that's over kind of by the door. I'm sorry that the lights are kind of blowing it out. But we got a lot of really super cool, beautiful things in here as well. A lot of people don't realize that we have a gallery that's 2 blocks from the museum. But here we are. And this is, it was a happy coincidence because we were looking for a place to buy a piece of property to hold our consulting business, Clearpoint. There's the little Clearpoint logo. And we found this place long before we ever started collecting minerals. It just happens to be 2 blocks from the museum. So it's been nice because one of our important friends and mentors is Joel Barch. And so it's easy for him to just pop over here, sometimes unannounced. And then this is the view out of our back door. It is an old historic home. It was built in 1930.
Well, I love it. You could go stay at the Hotel Zaza, and then you're in walking distance of both the museum and your gallery. I think that would be a super way for someone to spend a couple days just indulging in minerals.
Yes.
Now, what about a personal collection? Other than the stuff that you have for sale, I know that you guys have a personal collection, and why don't we take a look at some of the pieces and you can share some of the stories.
Okay, so being from my family hails from West Tennessee, and so does Charelle's. And so we were naturally intrigued and attracted by the minerals of the Elmwood mining complex. And so very early on, we bought a few pieces from Bill Stone, who was the founder of Sunnywood, and he introduced us to Steve Neely. And Steve became one of our most important friends in minerals. And our relationship with Steve really transcended the minerals. He became one of my very best friends just in life, period. And
tragic loss. Yeah.
Horrible. I still grieve. I talk to Steve almost every day. And usually it would be on my drive home. And I still to this day find myself reaching over to say, hey, Siri, call Steve Neely.
Yeah, of course. No, he's missed and loved by all.
Yeah. And so for many years, Steve would get a new pocket of whatever it was out of the Elmwood mines, and he would keep the best one for his collection. And then he would offer usually the second best one or anything else that we wanted out of the pocket. And so we would buy pieces from Steve. Yeah. And I got some to show you.
Okay.
So this was the first important thing that we bought from Steve. This is what they call a jewel on matrix. So this is hard to appreciate the gemminess and the jewelliness of this without seeing it live, but it's doubly terminated and it's super transparent and it's got the beautiful honey color and calcite on matrix. So this was one of the first things we got.
Now, is that the direction that your collection kind of started with the Elmwood and then it grew worldwide, or how did it work? Oh, here we've got a photo of that same piece up on the screen now.
That's a different one, but I have that one here.
Oh, that's a different one. Sorry.
Yeah. So this is a calcite on galena, and I posted this on my Instagram, and the aesthetics of it are so sweet that it really just blew up the Instagram. And so I thought, well, let me bring this one to show. It's kind of an unusual combination when you get the nice sharp galenas and then this super focal crystal calcite sticking up off the top. And this one we actually didn't get from Steve. This one, believe it or not, we got from Will Johnson.
Okay.
It was in Danny's room at FMI, and we didn't buy it. And then we went back the next day to buy it, and it was gone. And so, naturally we were sad. But then a year or two later, we showed up in Will's room and Will had it, so we didn't miss it a second time. So we bought it.
So to answer the question that you asked, Brian, when we first started, one of our mentors was a man named Wally Knapp here in Houston. He since has passed away, but we started with everything because James has the collector gene. And so there was no like focus. And we were learning. So, we sort of learned by acquisition in the early years.
Okay. That's a very common thing. Most people learn that way. They collect everything and then they realize I can't keep going on like this. I need to kind of narrow the focus. So it sounds like the same happened with you.
Exactly. So over the years, it was very easy to focus on Elmwood in particular, one, because of our family history, but the pieces are beautiful. The combinations are magnificent. I mean, it's my favorite locality. Yeah. In addition to that, because of the breadth of material, we also have a Mexican sub collection. Here's another beautiful Elmwood piece. And then we have a small worldwide collection. Okay. So that's what our personal collection looks like. But truth be told, the Elmwood collection is my favorite.
That is a superb piece.
Yeah, I love that piece.
It's just a jewel on fluorite with little barite balls. And this was a piece that Steve had to hold for us for a little while until we could scrape together the money. And he's like, it can sit here in my collection until you're ready. And so we ultimately finally got it. And this is one of our very favorite Elmwood pieces.
Keep channeling Steve. I love it. That was a great impression.
You've got the pro photo of that thing.
Yeah. Okay. Let me pull up the photo of that there. Yeah. And who took this photo, by the way?
That I believe that's a Joe Budd photo.
Okay. All right. Joe Budd, for those who don't know him, he was an independent mineral photographer and then went to go work with Rob Levinsky for some years. Then he went independent. Then he got out of the business. Now he's back working for Danny Turchillo at Fine Minerals International. I just happened to run into him this year at Sainte Marie, and boy, was it nice to see him. I haven't seen him for years, so we did a little catch up. So it's nice to see that he's back.
And then, so our collection, I have a few more Elmwood pieces if you'd like to see them.
Would I? Peg leg. This is a
kind of a cool combination. We got this from Steve. This is a little sphalerite and then a galena perched on two fluorite cubes on the traditional dolostone matrix.
I love the stacking. It's super.
Yeah. The aesthetics of this thing this was one that Steve kind of begrudgingly sold us, but this is one of our very favorite things just because of the aesthetics of it. And Sandor, who's a buddy of ours, came to our house, and this was one of his favorite pieces in our collection.
That's great. When you have people like Sandor Fuss coming over and oogling over some pieces, you know that it's in a certain level. Now, let me ask you, so a lot of these pieces you got from Steve, and he was a dear friend of yours. Does it make it near impossible that you would ever deacquisition these pieces from your collection?
Yes.
Yeah. We have an entire cabinet full of Elmwood things, and probably 85 or 90% of them we got from Steve. We do sell occasionally pieces as we cull things out. So occasionally you'll see a Steve Neely piece, come through. But it does make it hard.
I would suggest that you rename that case the Steve Neely case, and anyone who knows Steve by default will know that it's Elmwood.
That's right. And then here's one that we got years ago. One of our consignment partners is Dr. Jim Gebel, and Jim is a well-renowned fluorite specialist, and so naturally, Elmwood is known for producing fluorites. And we went up to the East Coast show to help him break down his display when he was the featured exhibitor at the East Coast show, which involves setting up 52 or 53 cases. And
this is the Springfield show for anyone unfamiliar with it, Springfield, Massachusetts. What year did he exhibit?
It was 3 years ago, I think, 3 or 4 years ago. But he said, I have enough people to help me set up the cases. What I don't have is enough people to help me break down the cases. And I said, well, I'll fly up. And Steve actually flew up there. I flew into Nashville, picked up Steve, and then we flew up together to Hartford, and we trolled around the show. And it just is it's a core memory that I'll always cherish. And Jim said, hey, listen, I want to give you like a really super great deal on a piece of mine that you like for helping me. And so this was the piece. And what this is this is an Elmwood fluorite that has 4 clear corners. So
That is super.
Yeah. So we got that from Dr. Gebel.
Now, we were talking about this during our pre-trial today, but the camera that you guys are using on your laptop is doing an exceptional job so that the colors you see in that, and James, I'm going to ask you to hold that fluoride up again. The colors that you see on the screen are actually very realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You can kind of get an idea of the luster when I angle it over towards the little lamp we have in here, but it's just, we love these kind of yellow corners on the purple fluorites, and you're lucky sometimes if you get 1 or 2, but to have a specimen that has all 4 is just really a cool thing.
That's superb.
And then go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say, I love that a lot of your personal collection have stories attached to them. And to me, that was really kind of the main reason I started Blue Cat Productions, because I wanted to tell the stories behind the minerals. And I love that every single one that we've seen has some kind of story attached to it, a real emotional attachment to you guys.
And not to put the cart before the horse, but there's a list of people that I want to thank, and you're one of them. I think what you're doing with the what's hot in Tucson and what's hot in Denver and what's hot in St. Marie, and then also on these programs that you're producing with Raquel and Eloise, I think these are so important. I was rewatching a bunch of the earlier episodes, and I think these stories are important to capture and important to tell. They're very important. And I think what you're doing is a very fundamentally important service for the mineral hobby. Capturing Dave Wilbur and listening to some of the stories that you have about him, all of the curators, all of the collectors and the dealers. These are really important things. And these are great ways. I used to sit when Charelle's dad was still alive. I would get your DVDs in the Mineralogical Record, and Charelle's dad and I would sit for hours watching the DVDs from every show that you produced, and we would talk about which rocks did we like, and why did we like them, and I think what you're doing is a super important thing for our hobby. Blue Cat Productions and the Mineralogical Record, Rocks and Minerals, all of these things for collectors to be able to learn, see rocks, meet the people, capture those stories. It's critical. And so, thank you for doing what you're doing, Brian.
Thank you for your recognition and your kind words. It's something that I'm obviously enjoying. I'm having a great time doing. And I love the people in the stories more than I love the minerals. And that may be a little bit sacrilegious, but that's the way that it is. So I'm going to continue doing this as long as I can. So thanks, James.
Yeah, I think that for us, the minerals are beautiful, but they really are a conduit to relationships and friendships, travel. We collect mineral friends as much as we collect minerals. Some of our dearest friends now are people that we hang out with 3-4 times a year at these different shows. I drive all around the country a couple of times a year. One time I go west and one time I go east, and I stop and I see, I do private trunk shows. I get to see all of these great collections, Jack Halpern, the opportunity to get to see and meet all of these extremely interesting, bright people, Steve Smale, Paul Geffner, Steve Neely, that's the thing that I enjoy the most is going on the road, doing my my mini Steve Bailing impersonation of going and doing private showings, because I get to see the collections, and I post my adventures on Instagram and on my show notes on my website. And I get so many comments from other collectors who would never get to go have lunch with Steve Smale, never get to go sit and play rocks with Jack Halpern, who they're so grateful to get to kind of, see these things. And I know you get a lot of that too, because you do all of these interviews and you produce all this content. But I get people who tell me, thank you so much for going and showing me the things in Steve Neely's collection, or thank you so much for showing me this or for that. So it really is a treat for me.
Yeah, not everybody has access or the ability to travel like we do. But like you said, it's the minerals that's the kind of the common denominator amongst us.
Exactly.
And then once we start spending time with each other, we actually develop true friendships that go beyond just the mineral world. For example, this is a recent photo taken, I want to say not even a week ago. And there's Patrick, there's myself, and there's you. And we're overlooking the Mosel River there. And we had just come over that bridge in the background there. And we're just tooling around, having a great time. We're not talking minerals, not doing anything other than enjoying each other's company. And to me, that's the fun part of it. That's what it's all about. We can all appreciate the minerals, but I love those little private moments that we have with each other.
I do too. And the thing that I always say is that the friendships, the mineral world. Look at the Steve Smales and the Steve Neelys and the Dave Wilbers. The mineral world is full of some of the most interesting, bright, curious people that you'll ever meet. And we have other things that we pursue, different, softball and bowling, and Charelle and I play cribbage. And the mineral people are very, very interesting, intriguing, bright people, and so it makes for a really good social set.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Plenty of places to go too. I mean, this was our first time to go to San Marie, and getting to be there with our friends, and it was really, really cool. Not just the mineral part. I think the stories are more interesting sometimes than the rocks, but it's all good. So.
Absolutely. Well, now, obviously, I'm here in Hawaii, and Hawaii is a series of volcanic islands, and that's my segue, volcanoes. You have a piece that you have called The Volcano. I'd love you to share it with the viewers.
Okay, so, like Charelle said earlier, our mineral collection is kind of in three parts. There's the Elmwood stuff, which we both love. And then Mexican minerals. A couple of important mentors for us have been Marshall Sussman and Peter McGaw and Jim and Imelda Klein, Jason New, and we love Mexican minerals. So we did manage to get this piece called The Volcano. So here's the two smokestacks of the volcano. You can see right through there. This is from the Milpitas mine.
That is superb.
This is just one of the most intriguing things, because it's got the really lustrous blue azurite and the velvet malachite. But look at these freaking smokestacks where how did that happen? I mean, that's just an intriguing thing. So that's the famed volcano.
Fabulous piece. I love that.
Yep. And then we have this. Several years ago, there was a find of azurite rosettes that came out of Zacatecas, and one of the first people to get in the room when these things hit were Jim and Imelda Klein, and the second person in the room was our buddy Rick Ely. Rick and Sherry Ely up in Dallas, and they got in and wanted to pick one, and Jim and Imelda said, y'all go ahead and pick first. And then years later, we were able to acquire it out of Rick and Sherry Ely's collection. But I've seen a lot of these, but none of them that are so rose-like as this one.
That is like a perfect rose, and I can't see any damage whatsoever on that.
No, this thing, I begged and pleaded with Rick for years to release this out of their Mexico collection, but this is the Rose of Zacatecas. This is in our pile.
Superb.
And then another one of our good mineral buddies is Jason New. Jason and his father Mike New. They got a lot of the material coming up out of Mexico for many years, and Jason would always manage to get one of the best things out of any given lot. And if you look in his chapter of the Arizona One Collector Supplement, he has this thing, which we have managed to acquire. So this is the best plate of the wolfenite, orange wolfenite on chocolatey brown colored mimetite from Ohuila. This was one pocket, and it's about 17 centimeters across. And this is in our Mexico collection.
And you got that from Jason?
We did. We got it from Jason. It used to be possible to get things from Jason, but he's crushing it now with Virgo Gemco, and he doesn't need money anymore as much as he needs rock. So getting things like this from Jason is really, really hard now.
Yeah, and Jason's father, Mike, was honored in 2020 with the American Mineral Heritage Award, which recognizes achievements of field collectors who are still alive and what they've contributed to the mineral world. And shortly after that, I think he passed, or right before the ceremony, he passed, but he will be missed and well remembered.
Yeah. And I got to meet him a few times because of Jason. Another one of our buddies is Brent Lockhart, who used to be a member of HAMS. I'm rocking my HAMS, Houston Area Mineralogical
I noticed
Society.
that.
And Brent switched his focus from cabinet-sized things to miniatures, and so he decided to deaccession a piece that we've always called the tree. And this is from the Milpilas mine, and this is a copper that, to us, golly, it just looks like a tree.
Oh my God! And it looks like the top is moving just a little bit. There's a little bit of give there. Is that right, or is it just the video?
No, it's really solid. That's just my 51-year-old hand shaking a little bit.
Too shaking. Too much caffeine. That is superb.
Too much caffeine. I'm all Dr. Peppered up. So there, I have a few other things to show from our Mexico collection. This is a rhodochrosite from Mexico, from the Nono Alco mine. For a Mexican rhodo, it's rhombohedrons on the kind of manganese C matrix. And then this is a piece a few years ago. They hit this really cool pocket of amethyst on black matrix over at Guerrero. And so this is
classic Guerrero shape and just wonderful piece. I love that black matrix. The contrast isn't so high against the, oh, look at that color. Can't get better than that. That's superb.
Yeah. Sorry, I can't get it to light up a little better, but yeah, that's the color saturation all the way out to the tips, the aesthetics, the focal crystal sticking right up at 12 o'clock. That's what we like.
I love it.
And then I'll show one more from Mexico. They've been finding these selenites at the Nika mine, and this is the one that we got that's supersedes every other one that we've seen.
That is just water clear. Look at that.
Absolutely water clear. So, and you can see it's on this kind of rusty red matrix. So that's a few things from the Mexican portion. And then we have a few things from kind of like our little small worldwide collection, if you'd like to see those.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think everyone is enjoying this very much.
So Charelle is a huge Francophile. And so we recently have started trying to find good French minerals for our small worldwide collection. And I think about 2 years ago, Ian Bruce got this French mineral collection, And for us, this was the prize of the collection.
And I know Eloise was drooling over this a little bit earlier. This is from Lebec.
Yeah, Lebec. And it's got really great color saturation. It's kind of on this white matrix, and the main crystal as it sits in the Sunnywood base is kind of turned on the diamond. But it's it's just really our aesthetic with that nice focal crystal perched right in the center. Great color, good luster. These things don't have really wet luster, but as far as these go, it has good luster, and it's bluer in person. The camera seems to be washing it out a little bit, but you get the idea.
It's pieces like that prove to people why fluorite is just one of the most collectible minerals. There's such a variety of fluorite worldwide, shapes, sizes, colors, everything.
We, like a lot of collectors, we love the Sweet Home, the cherry red Sweet Home stuff. And years ago, we were fortunate enough to get a piece from Brian Lees, who's also been really important mentor to us, both as collectors and dealers. But this came out of Brian's collection.
Gulp.
Yeah. So
superb.
Oh. Yeah, that's a pretty big ROM. I don't know.
And on the black matrix.
It's on manganese matrix, and it also has chalcopyrite sprinkled all over it. So that's one.
You guys have a favorite piece?
What is
I know it's like saying what's your favorite child, but
it differ on different days. But the piece that James is about to show you is the one that got me, excited again. We had a period of time where we weren't collecting very much, but then this piece was offered to us by Brent Lockhart, and it's one of my very, very favorites. So plus it's green.
Yeah,
green raspberries.
Yeah.
When we first started in the hobby, we told Brent Lockhart, if you ever decide you would like to sell the olives, which is what we call it, we would love to own it. And one day, several years ago, Brent called us up and said, hey, do you still want the olives? And we said, yes, we do.
Yeah.
And so we bought this, and, I can't get enough of this thing.
Yeah.
Now, he put in a fabulous case at the TGMS show, I want to say maybe 2016, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm. He won the Sautel's.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then he put in he switched his focus from cabinet size things to miniatures, and he put in another case in the contest in miniatures, and he won the Romero Trophy, the Lidstrom Trophy. Brent has an exceptional taste in minerals.
Wonderful.
And then, Charelle and I love cruciform minerals. And we found this years ago. And for me, this is the coolest rock from Romania that I've ever seen. This is called Gruescue's Cross.
This just totally blows my mind. I mean, and from Romania, it is the most memorable mineral I've seen from Romania ever. I mean, this is superb.
Yeah, I love this thing. We when we started our business, we were told, you need to concentrate your collecting efforts only on one locality, and you need to sell everything else. And so this was in our collection, and we sold it, and we regretted it. And the olives was what represented the catalyst for us to decide it was okay to keep a small worldwide collection. And so this was a piece that we actually had to go and pry out of the collector's hands that we had sold it to, but we managed to get it back. So that's Gruescue's Cross.
Probably not for the same amount that you sold it, but congratulations on getting it back.
You are correct. So those are a few things. Those are a few things from our personal collection, and then part of our business model is we take things on memo from other collectors. And if you'd like to see some of the things that we have currently in the gallery, I'd like to show a few.
I'd love to. Let me kind of redirect for a moment here. And, oh, great. Okay. I think Eloise just read my mind. James, you can go ahead and close that window. I was going to say, let's go ahead and launch the poll. And while the viewers are answering these questions, I want to talk about this. This was a supplement that came out in the February 2023 Mineralogical Record. It's called Flawless Beauty, and it, although it applies to Charelle, this isn't about Charelle. This is the Will Johnson collection. And I know that you have a lot of pieces from the Will Johnson collection that you had available in Tucson. And for anyone who hasn't seen this or doesn't subscribe to the Mineralogical Record, this is still available online. Absolutely exceptional collection. Will has just an incredible eye for aesthetic and beauty. And so I'm just kind of quickly flipping through it here. But I know that you have some of these pieces with you right there in the gallery. So why don't you go ahead, share some from the Will Johnson collection, then we'll look at some of the pieces from some other collections you have. And then obviously we're going to go a little bit over our 1 hour show today, but I don't think anyone minds. So I'm going to turn it back to you. Keep going.
So we in addition to taking things on consignment, we've started acquiring collections or parts of collections in the last few years. And Will is a good buddy of ours. He is over his room in Mineral City is very close to our room, and we become fast friends. We've traveled together. We've shown rocks together, and we were fortunate enough when he decided to deaccession 300 pieces out of his miniatures collection to get those objects. And so we've been selling them. We still have several that are in the book. I'm going to show you first the one I call the double sword and the stone. This one he bought it from Stuart Walensky. And this is on page 57 in the supplement. And this is from Morro Redondo in Brazil. And it is a tourmaline, two tourmalines shooting up through quartz.
Love it, man.
And then, then we have one that we'll call the bunny, but it is a
that's an inside joke. James was calling it the rabbit ears, and I'm like, no, nothing is allowed to be called the rabbit ears other than the tourmaline queen piece. But that's right.
So this is from Marilani Hills. This is on page 118 in the supplement, and it's just this super saturated chrome green tourmaline. And then up on the top, it has these two perfect little calcite ears just kind of perched up on the top. So we'll call it the bunny, and with deference to the rabbit ears, blue cap.
I love it. And I'm going to do a call out here. All of the fabulous photography that's done in the supplement was done by Tom Span. So definitely a thing worth getting, a supplement worth getting.
Yep.
All right, what's next?
So we'll jump ahead to page 190. There is a roto with fluorite that he bought from Brian Lee's, that just from the strawberry pocket. And this thing is just insane aesthetics, color, luster, razor sharp, no repairs, no restorations. And Tom really crushed the photo on this on page 190 in the supplement. Let's see what else we have to show. On page 198 is this anglicite from Morocco.
This is a great piece.
Yeah. Will specializes in gem crystals, and this thing is just orange and just as gemmy as can be. You can see the case. If you look back through that main crystal, you can see the case moving around back there because it's a total orange gem jewel. Then I have this. So Will's aesthetic and my aesthetic run similar in that he likes things that are gemmy and perched on contrasting matrix. So we have this this Puiva axonite that has it's got purples and oranges in it if you get the light through it, right? Mm-hmm. But this thing is just doubly terminated, lustrous, perfect aesthetics, and it's on page 245 in the supplement. And then And I think you have the pro photo of that. I don't know if you want to throw it up, but I'll try to keep moving along here.
Oh yeah, okay. Let me pop that up real quick so that people can see. There we go.
Yeah.
And I think it actually looks better, a little bit better in the book.
Yeah. Yep. And then on page 264, for us, this is my favorite burst of apophylites. Turn that light down just a little bit because it's blowing it out. Like that. Yeah. So this thing on page 294, 264. My eyes are bad. 264. Yep. Yeah. This thing is just crazy train. I mean, for aesthetics, it just doesn't get any better than this. They're very gemmy, and they have this nice dominant focal crystal right up at the top. So, but yeah, we have, we've got a lot of very beautiful things. And if you're watching, Will, thank you for letting us buy this group of minerals.
Superb. Let's see. Do you have any other pieces that you want to share with us before we go over and start doing the quickfire 5 questions?
I do. I want to show a couple of pieces that we have from a couple of our consignment partners. I'll just do one each. This is a wolfenite on yellow mimetite from the La Morita mine. This is out of the Everson collection.
That's great.
That's in the gallery. This is one of our good buddies is Bruce Carter out in West Hollywood. Sure. And this is an incredible Amazonite and smoky quartz with albite from Bruce's collection that we have in the gallery right now. Another one of our buddies is George Hickok's a Houston collector. And this is an imperial topaz.
Super.
That we have available out of George's collection. I told you that we're good friends with Dr. Jim Gable, and he's a renowned fluorite specialist. This is a hard thing to get. This is a fluorite from the Rhone Glacier in Switzerland. Has a clear body with a kind of a pink core that you can catch.
Yeah. I thought that might be some inclusion, but it's a pink fluorite inside of there.
It is a pink fluorite inside of there. Another local collector that we've been working on upgrading. This is a really beautiful Burkhardt's pocket tourmaline from the Pedernera mine. Mm. With the and always on matrix is going to be preferable. So you have the quartz, the albite, other little tourmalines, the purple lepidolite. This is a very cool thing. That's out of the Sam Cooper collection. And then we work with a California collector named Conan Barker. And we were just there a couple of weeks ago on our West Coast swing, and we got a new batch of material from him. And this
is crazy awesome.
Yeah. This is from the Sumeb mine. And the only reason we were able to get this to sell for Conan is because he got a bigger, better one. And so he decided he didn't need 2. And so this is the very, very hard to find reticulated cerussite, nice, thick, fat blades from the Sumeb mine.
That is so classic, so beautiful.
And then we work with a Phoenix collector named Jason Adams. And we got, this is the one I want to show out of his collection. It's called the Owl. And it's a fluorite from the Yaogong Shan mine that has the kind of the alien eye morphology of the crystal. And, it does look like an owl, we have to admit.
I love the subtle pastel colors of that.
Yeah, very cool thing. And then last but not least, one of our original mentors and good buddy, Brent Lockhart, has on consignment to us this incredible spinel from Vietnam. The matrix also has clenahumite and pargasite in it, but this is a very serious thing. Yeah, really a big thing. Beautiful.
That's superb.
So, yeah, and so
the etching on it just makes it so interesting to kind of examine. That's definitely something that you need in front of you to kind of really explore it and get to know it.
For sure. Yeah. So that's it. That's our business model is to buy collections and also to get things from the people that we sell things to on consignment as they look to upgrade and move up to the next thing.
Now, how often do you guys do your Steve Belling type road trips?
So I generally, for the last, it kind of started with COVID when the shows all got canceled. Right. Steve Belling was always a very important friend and mentor. He's a Coug, go Cougs, Houston kid. And he took a special interest in Charelle and I, and he gave us a lot of really good advice about collecting and then about dealing. And when I told Marshall Sussman that I was going to start up a mineral dealership, and he says, well, what do you want your place in the mineral dealership world to be? And I said, well, if I'm successful, I want to be like Steve Belling. I want to go and see all these incredible collections, and I want to sell nice things and buy nice things. And that's the model that I want to do. And so that's what I've tried to do. I've tried to emulate Steve Belling.
Great. And so you still do those road shows? What time of the year do you do them?
Generally in the summer. On my website, I post show notes when I go and see all these collections, do the different shows if you go to focalcrystal.com and click show notes, you can read. I normally do them in one at the beginning of the summer and one towards the end of summer. So I just came off the road for the Western Swing. We go Dallas, Austin, Tucson, Phoenix, San Francisco, Tehachapi, LA, Fallbrook, San Diego, back through Phoenix. And that's kind of my Western loop. And then on the Eastern loop, I'll be leaving in a few more weeks to do that. And it will include the East Coast show for the first time. We'll be there as a dealer at the East Coast show, but we'll go Arkansas, Kentucky, or Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. We'll do the East Coast show. We'll go down through the Carolinas. We'll go down into Florida, Alabama, and then back along the Gulf Coast into Houston. So generally in the summer.
Sweet. And so for those, you're not setting up anywhere, but you are making yourself available for private meetings. Is that right?
That's correct. We do a combination of private meetings in people's homes, so I get to see their collections and learn what they like, and also have the opportunity to get things on consignment and to buy things. And sell things. And then we do some shows incorporated in with that. And then we do sometimes if we don't have like a local host that has a house big enough to hold 10 or 15 people, we'll take out a room at a nice hotel and set up in a ballroom there. So it's a combination of private showings, trunk shows, and mineral shows.
Superb. And all that information is on your website, which is what? Thefocalcrystal.com?
Focalcrystal.com.
Excellent. Okay. Okay, so it's just focalcrystal.com. All right, we are a little bit over our 1 hour period, but now we're going to go to one of our favorite parts of the show, which is the Quick Fire 5. Are you guys ready?
Ready.
Okay, so basically what we did is we had 5 questions that we posted to all the viewers, 2 answers to each question. They guessed what they think you might answer. And so now it's your turn to see how correct they were. So all of your answers are correct. And the idea is you give me the answer that most resonates with you. I have 2 questions for James, 2 questions for Charelle, and 1 question that you both have to provide the answer. Okay. So are we ready?
We're ready.
Okay. Charelle, the first one's for you. Favorite state, Tennessee or Texas?
Has to be Texas.
Ooh. Texas. Okay. James, this one's for you. Better movie, The Godfather or The Shawshank Redemption?
I'm going to go Shawshank. I know that probably won't be the popular choice, especially since I'm Italian, but for me, it's Shawshank.
All right, Charelle, back to you. Next question. Spaghetti with meatballs or spaghetti ice cream?
Oh, I have to say, I have to say spaghetti ice cream.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
James, back to you. Kit Kat or gummy bears?
Oh, it's gummy everything. One of my staples on the road. Cool Ranch Doritos, Diet Dr. Pepper, and gummy anything. I love
Yum-y. That's it's the road trip snack of champions. All right, and final question. This is for both of you. Python or pyrite?
Python or pyrite?
Pyrite.
Yeah.
Oh, was this too obscure for you? Sorry, Python's programming language. I don't know.
Right. No,
I got it.
Right.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Pyrite.
All right. So we have all your answers. Eloise, are you ready with our viewers' answers?
Yes, I am indeed.
All right. Question number 1 was to Charelle, favorite state, Tennessee or Texas? She chose Texas. What did our viewers say?
They went for Tennessee.
That's what I thought her answer would have been Tennessee.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So, James, we're playing too, and you would have gotten that question wrong. All right. Question number 2 went to James. Better movie, The Godfather or The Shawshank Redemption? James went with Shawshank Redemption. What do our viewers say?
Shawshank Redemption. Yes.
Wow.
Okay.
James, you are saved.
Indeed.
Question number 3 went back to Charelle. Spaghetti with meatballs or spaghetti ice cream? She
Okay,
went predictably with spaghetti ice cream.
You have to explain that to us because people went for spaghetti with meatballs, obviously, because we have no clue. I have no clue what spaghetti ice cream is. What is this?
Okay, let me show you. Spaghetti ice cream. That is spaghetti ice cream. It is vanilla ice cream. Looks like spaghetti with a little cherry topping. This was a special that we all enjoyed in Idar Oberstein. And Patrick Dreyer brought us here. And sounds kind of gross, but let me tell you, there was not a single person who didn't finish every single bite. So spaghetti ice cream.
Gotcha.
And
thank you.
What did our viewers go with? They went with spaghetti and
meatballs. Yes.
Charelle's an enigma. She's a mystery.
Okay, question number 4. I went back to James. Kit Kat or gummy bears? He went with the gummy bears. What did our viewers say?
They have a lot to learn about James and Charelle. They went with Kit Kats.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but at least they know what to get James at the next show. It's fine. No worries.
Okay. Final question. Python or pyrite? Our viewers had to get this one right.
Pyrite, yes.
Pyrite. Okay. All right. 2 out of 5. Not great, but it's okay. James, Charelle, you guys are going to get the gift that we have for you. This is a pouch of Nums mixed here in Hawaii. These are lychee gummies with lihing and lemon peel on it. And it's out to you just for fun. Nums.
Num.
Thank you, Brian.
My pleasure. All right, let's go to the Q&A. Eloise, what questions do our viewers have?
Okay, we had some trouble because people were mostly probably like me, like this, staring at their computer and not asking questions. And suddenly when you stopped showing rocks, I had a bunch of questions in the chat and in the Q&A. So I was asking people to put all the questions from the chat in the Q&A. So I hope I have them all in the Q&A now. And I will go from the bottom up. Is the volcano specimen a pseudomorph cast, information of the malachites? If so, is it known what the original mineral was? And that's a question from Cindy.
I don't believe it is a pseudomorph. I think it's the way that the primordial juices bubbled up and created that little smokestack and the malachite settled out in the way that it did.
Yeah, I would concur with you on that. It's definitely a formation of malachite, usually trying to do the stalactite and stalagmites, but they kind of never achieve to raise perfectly, and sometimes it terminates in a little hole like this. That's a really cool one. I love that specimen. It's really awesome. All right, back with Claudia. She was asking about the olive, your favorite, Charelle. What is the mineral? And again, is it a pseudomorph? And where is it from?
Smithsonite from Sumab.
Yes, that one. Let me put highlights on it again. Okay. Yes, that one.
So Smithsonite from Sumab.
From the Sumab mine.
And is it a pseudomorph? I don't think so.
I believe that these are I think they would be considered epimorphs. I think that there used to be something in there, probably balls of quartz or possible, since the matrix has quartz on it and some of the same rounded shapes. I'm guessing it was either calcites or something, and then smithsonite came at a later stage and grew over it. but not all the way completely over. And then whatever was in there ultimately resorbed because they are as hollow as they can be. Let's see if I can get a better light on it. Yeah, they're totally hollow.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's Smithsonite from the Sumeb mine. And I think there did used to be something inside there.
Mhm. Cool. Still, I'm staying with a question for the minerals and the mine. What is the mine name for the Mexican rhodochrosite?
The Nonoalco, Nonoalco, Nonoalco mine in Mexico.
Excellent. Okay, Barbara was asking about the olive, so that's done. And what about the cross? What is the mineral and where is it from again? Exactly. Because you said just Romania.
Yeah, it's from the Rickenstein mine, and it's in Romania. And the man who dug it up, his last name is Gruescu, Gruescu, I believe, Gruescu. And this specimen is called Gruescu's cross. It's artichoke quartz.
And what is the green? Is it something underneath as well, or black?
Galenas. They're two little
galenas.
two little
Oh, wow.
hanging out under there.
I love that piece.
Excellent. All right. Other question, not necessarily minerals related. The Sumeb cerusites that you just show, is it on your website for sale or not?
It's not yet on the website. I just got this on my West Coast swing. It is for sale, but it's not. I don't have it. I don't have it posted on my website. But this is a serious thing. This is
Email.
Yeah, you can email info@focalcrystal.com. You can grab a screenshot and just send me an email, or you can always ping me through Instagram @focalcrystal on Instagram. But yeah, this is a serious thing. This is multiple 5 figures.
All right. Other question, not related to your minerals directly, but where do you go to buy the supplements on the Min Records? I think it's on Min Records website, right, with the supplements?
Yeah, Mineralogical Record is it com or what is it?
Org. I can't remember. I think it's not.
It might be org, mineralogicalrecord.org. But just do a Google search for Mineralogical Record. Anyone who does not subscribe to that, if you're into minerals, it's the best bargain on the planet in the mineral world. You get incredible publications. I'm always putting blue cap films into the Mineralogical Record. We're about to launch the What's Hot in Tucson 2023 edition. And that's going out via their newsletter. And you have to have a copy of it to find out what the code is so that you can get a free copy. So if you're a Mineralogical Record subscriber, you get, it's 6 issues a year. You get constant supplements like this. You get all the blue cap films. And it is really it's the best bargain in the mineral world. So go online, do a Google search, and subscribe. Great magazine.
And Brian, can you tell us maybe the year it was published and the issue number? If you have it?
This one?
Yes.
Yeah, this came out February 2023.
Excellent. That will help. Thank you.
So I think James just received this. I think you actually had a copy of it in your room at the Tucson Fine Mineral Gallery when we did the What's Hot in Tucson interview with you, but it had just arrived the day before we did the interview.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thanks. Other question related to your camera, the camera that you're using for your laptop. We asked you the same question earlier because it's so perfect.
Yeah.
So what's your laptop and what's the camera?
It's a Dell. It's just a brand new Dell, and it's whatever came with it.
Where did you get it? Best Buy, Costco, where? Online? Steal it from a college kid?
Yeah, we roughed up a college kid and snatched.
You stole it from your daughter.
Right. It's just whatever came in this brand new Dell laptop that we have.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. Question from Patrick. What are you using to attach the minerals to their clear plinths, I guess, to the base? What are you using?
So these bases are lucite bases from a company in Aurora, Colorado. This was not, but yeah, the lucite base. You send them the mineral, and then they cut out the lucite base and they CNC machine mill it so that it fits down in there really snugly. But there's no glue or putty or anything in there. That the mineral just fits perfectly down in the little base. This one's always a little bit tricky to figure out. So yeah.
Who's doing that? Sunnywood?
This is Sunnywood. Yeah. Like here, I'll show you on the Pedernera. This one's a good example. So here's the Pedernera as it sits, and you can see the base is milled out to fit the bottom of the specimen, and it has a little support peg right where it needs it.
Sunnywood's also in Mineral City during Tucson.
Yeah, and Sunnywood makes these at the mineral shows. So if you have specimens that you don't want to ship, you can always hand carry them to certain mineral shows, Denver and Tucson in particular, and they'll make you a custom lucite base.
Nice. Coming back to cerussite, is cerussite toxic?
Cerussite is a lead mineral, so I wouldn't recommend grinding it up and snorting it or eating it. But
damn, there goes my collecting days.
I don't think it's toxic. I mean, I don't believe it's toxic to handle. But no, as with a lot of things, yeah.
Just wash your hands like you do with most minerals anyway. If you're never sure, just wash your hands afterwards, and it's a good way to handle specimens in pretty much always. Last questions that I have on the Q&A. What music do you associate with your favorite mineral from the collection?
Oh, nice. Ooh. Whip out your music list, James.
Yeah, James and I have wildly different musical tastes, so it would be a different answer, I imagine, for each of us.
What's the Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen?
Yeah, Leonard Cohen.
So that's both of our favorite songs, Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen. And there's certain minerals that when you look at them, it's an emotional experience, and kind of like the Minrex supplement Eureka that was titled. I think there's certain minerals that when we see them, we just they make you say hallelujah. So I would say that would be my song for that I think of.
All right, I'm gonna go with Scotland the Brave, but no, I'm just kidding. That's just a joke.
It's a nice question to end on. I think that's Q&A for sure. Before I hand it back to Brian, I just wanted to acknowledge what you've been doing. I mean, it looks like you've been on the business forever because you have such a big online presence, and the knowledge that you have and the shop that you have, the minerals that you have are just exquisite. And again, it's your online presence, Instagram. I mean, I knew you before I knew you, like I met you basically. So that was definitely a great thing. And first time I saw you guys, like, yeah, of course I know them, and that's just awesome. So thanks for sharing the stories. Again, that's great. That's what we want, what we love about the rocks, the stories and the people behind the rocks. So thanks for doing that, and keep on doing the great job that you're doing. It's awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eloise.
Eloise, we really enjoyed when you hosted us at the School of Mines Museum, and we got to kind of tour with you. And so we really appreciate what you and Raquel and Brian are doing here with the program. It's your life's work. For us, it's our hobby that got out of control and turned into a business, but we really appreciate what you guys do day in and day out for the hobby.
Thank you very much, both of you. All right, back to Brian.
All righty. Well, James Charelle, I couldn't echo what Eloise is saying more. You're doing an excellent job. Keep doing what you're doing. For all you viewers out there, thank you for tuning in again to another fun episode of Mineral Talks Live. Check back with us. I think what's the next show? August 2nd. Wednesday, August 2nd is going to be our next episode. Until then, be safe. Live with aloha. Take care.